The meal concluded with Qian Fei humorously complaining to Duan Jiaxu and Sang Yin about not getting anyone's number, feeling like a backup compared to them. As Duan Jiaxu went to retrieve the car, Sang Ji internally wondered if his earlier actions, preventing her from eating certain foods, were meant to spare her embarrassment over her period. Though Sang Ji initially expressed reluctance, Qian Fei led her towards a claw machine. Duan Jiaxu then joined them, asserting he was the best at the game and would teach her. He specifically helped her win a white doll, telling her afterward not to cry anymore. Sang Ji clutched the doll he had just won for her as he affectionately called her a difficult kiddo. Yin Jinru persistently urged Sang Ji to join her for Fu Jingchu's birthday celebration. They met at a dessert shop where, to Sang Ji's surprise, Duan Jiaxu was working. He greeted them warmly. While Sang Ji was ordering, her classmate Yin Jinru gushed about how handsome he was. Duan Jiaxu playfully teased Sang Ji for staring at him, but ultimately refused to let her pay, insisting the dessert was on him. Shortly after, Sang Ji overheard Duan Jiaxu's boss offering him half a month's salary in advance, making her wonder if he was working multiple jobs because he was short on money. Fu Zhengqiu arrived, greeting Duan Jiaxu, and then curiously asked Sang Ji why Duan Jiaxu was working part-time if her family was wealthy, a question Sang Ji quickly dismissed. Despite Sang Ji not finishing her dessert, Fu Zhengqiu insisted they leave to meet their classmates. As they departed, Duan Jiaxu reminded them to be careful. However, Sang Ji quickly doubled back to the shop alone. Worried that Duan Jiaxu was struggling financially, she told him he didn't have to treat her and left cash on the table before running off, leaving a visibly moved Duan Jiaxu behind. During Fu Jingchu's birthday celebration, he attempted to confess his feelings to Sang Ji as he was about to make a wish. Uncomfortable, Sang Ji made an excuse to go home and left the party, with a disappointed Fu Zhengqiu following her. He confronted her, growing emotional as she tried to deflect his advances. Just then, Duan Jiaxu appeared, causing Fu Zhengqiu to flee. Duan Jiaxu gently advised Sang Ji that while it's okay to be admired, she should learn to reject people kindly without hurting them. He then returned the money she had left at the dessert shop. Sang Ji explained she only wanted to help, just as she would for her own brother. Touched by her sincerity, Duan Jiaxu assured her he wasn't in dire financial trouble and promised he would only borrow from her if he was ever truly desperate. He then made sure she knew her way home before returning to work. In the aftermath of the party, Yin Jinru became noticeably distant from Sang Ji. During a school assembly, Sang Ji's teacher overruled her request to be a record clerk for the annual sports day and instead signed her up for the high jump, dismissing her concerns about having bad knees. Later, Jinru rebuffed Sang Ji's attempt to walk with her to the store and was later seen enthusiastically cheering for Fu Zhengqiu during his race. When it was time for Sang Ji's high jump competition, Jinru flatly refused to join their friends to watch, highlighting their strained friendship. At the registration area for the high jump, Sang Ji found Sang Yin and Duan Jiaxu overseeing the event. Sang Yin immediately began teasing Sang Ji about her height, but Duan Jiaxu intervened, giving her a hat to prevent sunburn and encouraging her. During the competition, Teacher Chen from her junior high was also present to observe. Sang Ji struggled with the high jump, failing several attempts. On her final try, she landed badly and twisted her ankle. Sang Yin immediately rushed to her side and carried her on his back towards the medical room. Teacher Chen recognized Sang Yin and addressed him as Sang Ji's brother. To Sang Yin's immense annoyance, Sang Ji quickly covered his mouth and declared he was her father. As Duan Jiaxu gently disinfected and dressed her sprained ankle, Sang Ji reflected that he was much kinder to her than Sang Yin. Duan Jiaxu, however, pointed out how worried Sang Yin had been when she fell. The medical staff advised a hospital visit for the sprain. As they prepared to leave, Sang Ji watched Duan Jiaxu carefully help another girl who had also fallen. A pang of jealousy struck her as she realized that while he was very kind to her, he was just as kind to everyone, making her feel less special. Several days later, with her ankle still sprained, Sang Yin called to inform Sang Ji that Duan Jiaxu would be picking her up from school, adding a warning for her to behave. Yin Jinru approached Sang Ji after school, asking her to accompany her to buy something. Meanwhile, Duan Jiaxu waited at Sang Ji's school gate, but the security guard informed him that all students had left. Duan Jiaxu asked the guard to tell Sang Ji to wait for him if she appeared. He then asked a vendor if they had seen a high school girl with an injured leg, and the vendor directed him toward an alley. Jinru led Sang Ji away from the stationery shop, suggesting they go to a cyber cafe instead, despite Sang Ji's protest that their teacher had warned them it was dangerous. When Sang Ji refused, Jinru guilt-tripped her by saying she would go alone. Concerned, Sang Ji followed her into the alley, where 3 older girls were waiting. They immediately confronted Sang Ji, searching her bag and demanding money. When Sang Ji said she had no money, they called her a cripple and threatened her, instructing her to bring money the next day. A tearful Jinru then apologized to Sang Ji, explaining she had been extorted and was forced to bring Sang Ji along. Realizing she had been used, a disappointed Sang-ji confronted Jinru about her recent indifference, reminding her how she had been ignored after Fu Jingchu's birthday and during the sports day. Sang-ji told Jinru to go home, tell her parents everything, and asked them to inform the school, assuring her the bullies were just trying to intimidate them. Despite Jinru's repeated apologies, Sang-ji limped away alone. In the alley, Duan Jiaxu finally found Sang-ji. He asked why she hadn't answered his calls, and noticing her injured hand, he gently asked if she had been bullied. Sang-ji initially tried to downplay it, not wanting to trouble him. However, seeing his concern, she promised to tell her parents and confessed that the girls had tapped her cheek and taken her wallet, though she claimed her hand injury was accidental. She explained that a classmate, scared after being extorted, had brought her along. Duan Jiaxu advised Sang-ji to distance herself from that classmate and emphasized that she should always tell her parents when something happens, as they would always protect her. Duan Jiaxu took Sang-ji home on his bicycle. On the way, Sang-ji asked about Sang-yen, and Duan Jiaxu mentioned he was busy with graduation approaching. Sang-ji wondered if he would return to Iha for work, but he said he hadn't decided and liked Nanhua too. Duan Jiaxu encouraged her to find ways to de-stress, urging her not to bottle up her feelings and to talk to him or Sang-yen if she was overwhelmed. He then gave her some money to replace what was stolen, insisting she tell her parents everything. As Sang-ji walked into her house, she felt happy despite the ordeal. Later, she wrote a secret in her diary on October 27th. As much as I hate to admit it, I think I might be in love with him, with Duan Jiaxu. He's so handsome. She then folded the paper into a star and placed it in a wish bottle. The next day, Sang-yen, Duan Jiaxu, and two of their roommates arrived at Sang-ji's school. Sang-yen told Sang-ji to lead them to the bullies, declaring that no one gets away with messing with his family. Upon seeing the bullies, Sang-yen was surprised to learn they were girls and hesitated, saying he couldn't fight girls. One of his friends, Qian Fei, pointed out that 4 boys confronting 3 girls was inappropriate. So, Sang-yen and another friend went to confront them, and Qian Fei stayed behind with Sang-ji. Sang-yen confronted the girls for extorting money from his sister. He took back the 50 yuan, lectured them about studying instead of wasting their lives, and sternly warned them that only the weak bully others. Afterward, Sang-ji asked Duan Jiaxu how they handled it, and he jokingly claimed he told the girls he had a monthly quota for killing people and would be back for them next month. He then teased Sang-ji for looking like a pufferfish when she ate. Sang-ji offered him the money he had given her, but he refused. Qian Fei then playfully remarked that Sang-ji seemed more like Duan Jiaxu's sister than Sang-yan's. Privately, Sang-ji wished that Duan Jiaxu were her real brother, reflecting that he was the warmest person she knew, always offering care and strength. She wanted to grow up faster to become a better person, someone who could bring warmth to others, just like him. At school, the teacher announced that Yin Jinru had transferred for personal reasons. Sang-ji found an apology note from Jinru on her desk, but had a muted reaction. The teacher also addressed the class about the recent extortions, assuring them the school and police had handled the situation and reminding students to always inform adults about such incidents. Sang-ji's parents reviewed her final exam transcript and were concerned about her barely passing physics grade. Sang-ji admitted she disliked physics, but her parents insisted on hiring a tutor for the winter break. To her dismay, the tutor was Sang-yen, who boasted about his high score in the subject. Their first lesson quickly devolved into arguments, with both demanding a replacement. Their parents agreed to find a new tutor to stop their bickering. That evening, Sang-ji's mother told her a new tutor would arrive at 10 a.m. the next day. Dismayed, Sang-ji decided she would sneak out early in the morning to make the new tutor think she was a difficult student and quit. Meanwhile, at Duan Jiaxu's workplace, his colleague Sun, also from Iha, informed him about a project at the company's Iha headquarters and invited Duan Jiaxu to join him after the Chinese New Year. Duan Jiaxu promised to consider it. If you love the story, subscribe for the next episode.